Hello, today is July 3rd, 2026. Thank you for being here. I am in my own space today. The previous videos that I've filmed were filmed in a hotel. So this is my first video filming in my own area, home, sacred space, however. I mentioned before I'm an introvert, and so this is definitely a very special place for me to recharge and really just to get my energy back. The last several days from the week were spent on the road, and this was kind of a challenge in a lot of ways, and in the previous readings we talked about that, but really thankful for those challenges and what came up for me, and how those things kind of helped me to redirect what I needed to focus on. And I took a kind of a risk, a leap of faith, if you will. I had already been thinking a lot about doing something like this and filming, but I didn't spend a lot of time talking about that in the previous videos. I don't know how much I'll talk about it today, but I did want to kind of revisit that, and it does feel to me a very different energy to be in my own space, but I felt very, very called to do it anyway. So hopefully you can't hear this fan. It's pretty hot today. I just turned it down a little bit, but I do have it blowing, so if you can hear the fan, I do apologize. But it is really great to be back home. I didn't film anything yesterday because of the travel back home, and got back in really late, and then today I was kind of back and forth on if I should, but yet I still felt like, go for it, do it. That was a big theme that came up during the previous readings too, so definitely I didn't want to lose the momentum. I also, in coming back, I spent some time today looking at my calendar, looking at the upcoming astrological transits that, similar to what we've talked about already on this channel. And, I thought, well, what does a video today look like if, I'm sure there are, there's always the conjunctions and the trines and the things that we can talk about in those ways. We love a good aspect. But I personally felt that, at this time, that might not be the right move. And so I ended up spending some time with the upcoming month, but then my eyes, when I'm in my room, when I'm, occasionally where I sit and where I think and ponder and meditate, I get really drawn to this particular deck that I have. This is the Black Moon Astrology cards, Susan Shepherd, and I really love this deck for doing exactly this kind of thing, and thinking, well, what do we need to talk about today? Kind of getting a specific, message, a planetary message, an astrological message, and then, using tarot to go deeper into that. And that was what I did before starting this video. And so when I pulled cards off camera, I did pull Jupiter, the abundance card. And so this was, for me, kind of, it was like a surprise that wasn't a surprise in a way, because I immediately thought, okay, well, we just did Jupiter, so what's the reason for that and the revisit? But I also kind of was thinking, even before pulling the card, that that video, was there more to say? I wasn't sure at the time and I didn't feel that there was, and that's why I ended it where it did. But Jupiter comes back up, and before pulling the tarot, I do want to talk a little bit more about this particular transit, Jupiter in Leo, which, by the way, we are in, if you don't already know this, we are in that, we're going to be in that transit with this particular planet, this benefic, the planet of expansion and abundance, for the next year. We have 12 months with this. Well, we technically had 13, but it's sometime next year, July. I forget the date. So we have some time with this one, and that's why I think it's important for us to talk a little bit more about it. Maybe that comes up, and maybe there's more that I haven't thought of yet. But I also want to say that because this is such a long transit, this is a very slow moving planet. It's excuse me. That's one of the things that I was sort of hearing when I was getting set up for this video, was to actually kind of slow down, which might sound to be a little bit of a contradiction, and so I want to try to clarify. There's an energy of go for it, right? But there's also this, like, let's get it right and take it slow, don't rush. So again, even for my own self, I personally had to take that leap a few days ago, and I was in a hotel. I wasn't really where I wanted to film, to be honest. It was definitely not how I envisioned starting off, but I did it anyways, and so I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And sometimes we have to do those things. I also had in my meditation coming into this, thinking about being a little uncomfortable, and that uncomfortability could be for a number of reasons. It could be from a place of fear of being seen, fear of being heard. And Leo is definitely going to be where we need to face those fears. Leo season is coming up. It is just around the corner. So we'll talk about that more later. But I think the last message before getting in to this is, if you're finding this today, if you're finding this tomorrow, week from now, month from now, whenever that is, I really want to say thank you again, because this is kind of I don't know if this is a popular format, or if this is it doesn't matter, first of all. I don't know if this is the kind of content that goes viral, and for me, that's not important. For me, this is about whoever needs to hear this message. Really want to say, thank you. And I hope it does find the right person. And even if that person is my own self, and doing this for my own reasons and, growth, that is valid as well. So thank you to my own self, I guess. My first video I started off with, oh wow, Page of Wands just flipped out when I started to cut the deck. I started it off with, saying hello is the hardest part, and that was because that was a fear for me. So thanks to myself, and thank you to you, and whoever comes across this video at whatever time it is, even if it's outside of this transit time, it finds you when it finds you. I've heard readers say that. I've seen the titles, and it's something that has resonated with me, and so might just be the same for you. Okay, I was gonna shuffle. Page of Wands did flip out. I'm using the Crow Tarot deck by MJ Colanani, I think. Colanani? I'm not sure. But this is the Page of Wands, and I haven't even started yet. Page of Wands, we've got we've definitely got some inspired inspired maybe message here. So this could be from Spirit, an inspired message. And so thank you for that, Spirit. Let's see here. I've actually got the book. I haven't used the book in a while. I usually just read the gold foil tarot that it was in my last few videos. And I'm sorry if I can't find it right away. Page 1, there it is. Yeah, messenger of good news. Brings ideas and creative outlook on life. That's Leo energy. It illuminates any room. When I was meditating, I heard go inward to shine outward. It says her vibrant, youthful energy is powerful enough to spark a change in direction or push an original project forward. She loves adventure, and although she is ready to travel anywhere, her wings will take her. She is not reckless. That's what I was saying about taking the action, going for it, right? Going for it, but doing it somewhat slowly, getting it right. The page brings her free-spirited energy to the situation and is prepared to take in all the world has to offer. So a message for, I know I take these for my own self just as much as I'm reading it for anyone watching it. So if you've seen any of the others, and if you see any more, I think that's probably how this goes. So that's, exactly what I was just talking about. Confirmation right away. On the other side of that, we do have the world and we have the star. So we have something that's, a cycle of completion with the world. But with the world, completion also means a new beginning. And the star is about hope and wish fulfillment. So, divine guidance as well. So, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Let me shuffle better. And I should stop apologizing, I know. I really should. These I don't use as much. I used to use them a lot. And so I'm a little out of practice. There we go. Shuffle on these. These are also a little bit larger than the gold foil tarot. So my hands are, this is like the size of my hand. So I have small hands, I guess. But we'll get there. I was actually shuffling these guys too, and they're even larger. You can see. Oh, they're very similar actually, but anyways, yeah, they're pretty tough to shuffle, and I was really shuffling them earlier and making myself really like this. Okay, yeah, my shuffling skills might need some work, but okay. All right, so we have Jupiter energy. What do we need to know we didn't hear already? That's my question. That's for sure my question. And we've already had some good discussion here. Very interested to know. King of Swords. No, I'm sorry, not King of Swords. Knight of Swords. Didn't quite fall out. I'll do it like this. I don't know how I'm gonna end up filming these. Oh my gosh. Well, Three of Pentacles and then the Moon. Here. We can take those. I think I'm not going to be able to do it over the table, and I'm sorry. I don't think I have a very good angle on them. I did get the Hermit, and then I got the Knight of Swords again. Knight of Swords fell out this time. All right, one more. Okay. Four of Wands. We've been getting that one a lot lately. All right, I might pull more. I'm just going to read a little bit of what we have here. The little bits of things on the desk are like rosemary and some herbs that just, it looks a little messy, but it's just the herbs. Okay, so Jupiter energy. Three of Pentacles. So Three of Pentacles is about collaboration. This is very much finding the right people. It can even be people who are different from you and see the world a little bit differently, which can be a really great energy for collaboration. A lot of the times we do need different minds to, you know, get us through tough situations. I think that with the energy of what Jupiter is asking us to do, Jupiter and Leo is asking us to expand and to be authentic, and this card is kind of, this has been something I've already been thinking about a lot lately, is about finding the right people. And I just, you know, they call it a confirmation burp, so there's that. I would say that right now what we're calling in is soul tribe, you know, and I've been hearing that a lot lately. I've just been honestly hearing that almost everywhere I go. Sorry, it's so dark. You know, finding the right people who are to surround yourself with. A few videos ago, we were talking about outside opinions not lining up with what you need to do spiritually on your life path, or, you know, maybe even breaking away from the expectations on career. We were talking about that for the full moon in Capricorn. And this is that kind of yes and energy, right? We need to be surrounded by people who do take our dreams seriously and want to help us to achieve them. So this is probably one of my favorite cards. I really like the threes. I love the threes, actually. And so this one in particular is one of my favorite ones. This is so grounded. This is something so tangible. And I just really like and I really love the Rider-Waite-Smith depiction in particular, but the building of the nest here and the saving up the reserves, you know, with the crows here picking up the berries and then, you know, probably storing them away. This is people who are doing different tasks, but all with the same goal in mind. This is so valuable in life. And I was just listening to, you know, personally, I would say one of my favorite, but actually it's my number one top favorite reader on YouTube. And she was talking about finding the right people and, you know, surrounding yourself with those who are supportive of you in your dream. So this is what we can focus on, you know. I probably could have watched that video again. I can't remember if this card already came out, but maybe it didn't. That was such a beautiful reading, and so to see this card, if it did come out again, if it's the second time, I'm not sure, but I really do love this card. I think maybe it was Three of Cups that might have come out, and that was an energetic, you know, celebration, gathering of friends. Love that. This is definitely a little bit more about the labor side of it, but in building something together and something that's, like I said, stable, tangible, and that's super exciting. Really excited to see what that looks like for all of us. We do have the moon. The moon is, and actually, I have the moon here as well on my cup. So, the moon twice. The moon is when, you know, even when it's dark, when we have the light of the moon, especially a large full moon like this, we do have illumination. We have illumination of the shadows. This card to me, again, and one of my favorites, not to be biased, but I think the moon is, gonna uncover some things for us here. I was talking about maybe being a little uncomfortable. When you're uncomfortable, when you're starting something new, kind of going out on a limb, sometimes those, internal fears, doubts, whatever they are, they do come up. There could be some, I was hearing imposter syndrome. So you could have some of that too. I can relate to that, definitely. I've got, in this version of the moon, we do have this bird in a cage. And the bird in the cage is where I think we need to focus here. This is a little different than the regular depiction of the, not the regular, because obviously, there's so many depictions, but the RWS version of this card. This one shows something that's being locked away. And we do still have the image of, the water creature that's kind of coming to the surface. In this case, the fish out of water. Hopefully you can see this. The fish out of water coming to the surface. So those are definitely the subconscious things that we were talking about, whatever those fears, doubts, the things that could be holding us back, the shadows that we could be still trying to bring into the light here. But the cage, I'm just stuck on the cage for a second. With this bird in the cage. This is the authentic self, I think. This is the authentic self that we've been, maybe I'll bring it closer in case you can't see. This is the person that we might have been hiding. And why are we hiding it is the question. And I understand if it's, for this kind of reason, but this is the question that we have to ask ourselves. Why are we hiding? Can we face those fears? Can we be uncomfortable? And, what happens when we face that discomfort and then we realize it's not so bad? Once we come out of the cage, there's a lot more freedom. There's a lot more space to spread the wings, to go into the sky, to fly wherever you want to fly into the light of the moon. I mentioned traveling yesterday, and I don't love spaces that are crowded. Maybe you can relate to that. I never have. And airports, the things of the like, loud spaces, normally they really set me off. Don't care for it at all. And I had some time, but I was, in the beginning when I first arrived, I kind of found like a quiet corner, and I was in my corner, and I kind of I had some food I was actually watching some videos. And then, it was getting closer to the time to take off. And so I went ahead and, walked to the gate where it was a lot more crowded. It was, and that's exactly why I wasn't over there. It was super crowded. There was a restaurant where everybody was it was loud music. The sports were on the sports. Not much of a sports girly. FIFA was on. And everybody was, even people who weren't actually at the restaurant were kind of crowding. There was a bench that people were sitting on. And I don't know why, but I was kind of drawn to the bench myself. And I was really I felt like that was really out of character, but I was there's always a reason. And so I went over to the bench and I sat down, and I had this profound, I've never felt this anywhere. Especially in a space like that. I had this really profound, sense of, calm. Super calm. And I had my headphones on, my earbuds were in, so it was kind of noise canceling. It wasn't too loud, but honestly, I was, really surprised at myself for being kind of okay to sit in the middle of the energy. And people were just passing. Some people were running, everybody was like trying to get through. Like, you could just see the rush, right? And it was so odd to kind of be on the outside looking at it all and just feeling calm, and that was really out of character for me. And I guess the reason why I was sharing that is because, sometimes when we think we're going to be really uncomfortable and then we still kind of go for it anyways, we find out, maybe we have a lesson to learn, or we find out it's not as uncomfortable as we thought it was going to be. And how many times are we just stuck in our cage because of the fear of the unknown and how we think it might play out? And that's a really big part of, I think, of what this Jupiter Leo transit is going to show so many of us. And if you're ready to break out of your cage, I just kind of wanted to share that as a little bit of a reassurance, because like I said before, I understand that that's not easy energy to go into, the uncomfortability of it, but on the other side of it, you could really find this profound sense of calm, or some other gift that's right there on the other side that you need, and that you would be very happy to receive. And it was really interesting, and I never felt like that really anywhere before. I don't know if I can explain it better than that, but this card next, we do have the Hermit, and we have this Hermit in reverse. So it's clear to me, it's extremely clear to me, to you all as well, right? The Hermit is coming out of isolation. How long have you been in isolation? Has it been a long time? If it has, again, I understand that uncomfortability. Sometimes it's, it can be challenging to take that leap, take that step. It doesn't have to be a big leap. It could be a small leap. Work yourself up to it, whatever it is, however you're coming out of isolation, however you're coming out of the cage. The Hermit serves a purpose. The time of isolation serves the purpose. When I first read about the Hermit, I was really intrigued by the lantern. I might need a little bit of a light for a future video, but here we have this lantern. The lantern is the light. Funny I said that. Guiding the way through the darkness, through the isolation. We even have the star here. And we had the star earlier. It didn't come out, but we did have the star earlier. And this period of isolation is meant to enlighten us. And so if you've been in isolation for a long time, I'd put money on your enlightenment and your growth from the time you went into that isolation. What have you learned? What has isolation taught you? And why haven't you come out yet? Because it's clearly time. It's clearly time to come out. I'm telling myself this, just in case you guys need me to say it again. I'm telling myself this. Come out of isolation and share your gifts, share your enlightenment. This is what I've been hearing every time I get on YouTube. Everyone's telling me to do it, so I guess I have to tell you to do it too. How do you feel about that? I will assure you that I'm no expert here of YouTube. I've been reading tarot for about a year and a half. Started learning it about a year and a half ago. And it was kind of, it was an addition to the spiritual practice for me, but it was part of my wake-up call too, if that makes sense. And this was my first deck, actually. So, you know, where am I going with this? My point is, I'm not an expert either, and obviously I'm a novice to YouTube and to speaking for people, an audience that I don't know. But my hope, my intention here is that it does reach someone, and that it reaches someone who needs it. And somebody most likely needs you too, and it may not be the same form of expression. I just had another one of those, what they call the confirmation burp. So have at that if you I always laugh when I hear that a little bit. I'm used to it now, but when I hear people say that, it's kind of like funny. And I've never really had that like happen to me, so it's kind of funny to be on the other side of it, I guess. But somebody needs your gift too, and it could be any number of things, whatever it is. Like I said before, you know what it is, because I know, and I knew what mine was when I was hearing that message. And I don't know why I'm echoing it. I don't know why. But that's what I'm seeing here. For both of us, for all of us, anyone who finds this. I hope this resonates for you. If it doesn't, you just, you can just leave it. If it's not resonating, that's okay also. But I think if you are here, there's a good chance you might be resonating with it. Maybe there's something in my particular story that resonates with you. And that was the other message I heard in my meditation earlier, was that you have a story to tell. And I knew that about my own self when I heard another reader saying that. I knew that was true. I had to kind of get over my first hurdle. And here we are. And if you find this and you feel the same, think about what your story is and how do you want to tell it. Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords, swift action. We had this one before, right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's right. I talked about it. Knight of Swords, before I even really was truly pulling, did kind of pop out. This is so cool. I love this other bird, too. What is this other bird? Like a blue jay, I think? I think this is a blue jay. And again, the light here, you might be able to tell the color. Oh, and a yellow one, too. Maybe this might be a finch or something? I'll do better on lighting. See? Novice energy. But Knight of Swords is swift action. This is someone who is ready to charge in. And, Knight of Swords is funny to me. Because, yes, there is planning. You would think. But really, I never see that in this card. I mean, you've got swords of thought, right? But, this card really doesn't really show that. Swift action. Knight of Swords rushes into battle, charges ahead, pushing past all those who get in his way. It is not malice or anger that propels him, but pure momentum. Knight of Swords brings youthful, enthusiastic energy to a job, which brings with it the inspiration to create a pathway to success. This card may indicate a project that you're excited about. There's a swirling energy around you, and you cannot be stopped. Knight of Swords denotes a high potential and offers you the strength to complete the project, but also brings a warning not to cut corners or make a hasty decision. That's what we were talking about at the beginning of the video. Exactly that. And then we had Page of Wands in the beginning of the video. Jupiter is a slow-moving planet. We're going to be in Leo for 12 months. The next 12 months, from now till July 2027, mid-July, I think. So, I'm hearing, again, this is going to sound a little bit of a contradiction. I'm hearing you have time. You have time. And there was a lot about, in the previous readings, we had a lot about balance and going inward and listening to intuition. And so I think if we really integrate that into this message, Knight of Swords is encouraging you to go for it. We had that conversation before, but it is also, let's just not be hasty. Don't be hasty. When I was setting up for this, and even here I'm thinking, oh, I should have had a little more light. Maybe I need a little more light here. Right? Maybe I just open the window. No, that didn't really help. I was setting up for the video, and I was really excited. I had a big excitement about this. That's Leo energy. Ready to shine. I was so excited, but I was hearing, slow down, take it slow. And so I pulled myself back. And I had this 10 minutes in between, maybe 15 minutes, where I really just sat down and just thought, let me think about this. Let me just, and I wasn't thinking, I was meditating. But I wanted to do it right. And I was hearing about that song that's it's going to take time, it's going to take patience to do it right. And whether you believe it or not, I had set an alarm, and the alarm went off, and I opened up my phone, and it was 7:37 on the clock, and today is July 3rd. So 73737. And that's a spiritual, 7 is a spiritual number. 3 is a creative number. That's Jupiter and Leo. Jupiter's blessings can be extremely spiritual. We have 4 of Wands. 4 of Wands has come out in 3 readings now since I started this. And this can be, a lot of people see this and say marriage. Maybe this is marriage for you. Maybe this is, I don't know what this is for you. If it's, I'm sorry, let me back up, because that sounds so crazy for a reader just to say, I don't know what this is for you. But it could be marriage, but I'm really not getting marriage. So maybe it is, maybe it could be. Hell, for anyone who gets married during this time frame, I just want to say congratulations on your marriage. That's very exciting. That's very lovely. But I see this as balance. I see this as celebration and balance and harmony, right? Again, we have 1, 1, 1, 1, 2 on each side. Not really sure exactly what kind of flowers are at the top, but they are a white flower. And of course, white is purity. White is feminine, divine feminine energy, but it's it's an element of purity here. So again, this could be marriage for some people. Maybe if this, maybe it's, I don't know, unexpected marriage. I don't know. I'm not reading it as marriage, but I could see a partnership from this, right? And we had 3 of Pentacles, first card. So, hell if I know, maybe it's marriage. But you've definitely got balance here. This is definitely a very happy card. This very happy energy. Happy energy in Jupiter and Leo. I'm sorry to be so roundabout. I think it's just the shock of this card being in like every video since I started, with the exception of maybe one. So maybe that's what's kind of baffling me. I think I'm going to confirm everything here. I haven't gone and done anything longer than this time stamp, but I'm going to go ahead and confirm it. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little baffled here, but I'm going to get another one. And just so I can speak it clearly for you. And whatever it is, jubilation. I just heard jubilation. Exuberance. Oh, it's beautiful. I sure hope. And not that I hope. I know that's amazing. It could be marriage. Okay, let's. If you're still here, thank you so much. What did I say? You've got time. What was I saying? I was saying that earlier, right? You've got time. Take your time, or you've got time, something like that. You've got time. 43:43. On the timer. I'm sorry, I'm going to blow my nose. I guess I could have paused the video. Novice energy. From me, your humble reader. We're also in my space, and I feel, great about that. And I wanted to say this earlier, but thank you to Spirit for getting me home safely, especially during Mercury in retrograde. Really appreciate that. It's so great to be back. Okay, can we confirm? I want to confirm these cards. Let's confirm 3 of Pentacles. We'll just do them all. If you're feeling froggy. Okay, Justice came out so slowly. Justice in reverse. Balance. Balanced relationship. Balanced collaborations. Balanced friendships that they could be your soul tribe. Sorry, I don't know why it came out reversed. I'm over here thinking, you know, maybe you're coming out of this. Maybe you're coming out of an imbalance in relationships and friendships. There's been an imbalance for you. I'm sorry about that. I know that's tough to be in. I've been in that too. Especially if you've been a hermit. If you've been a hermit, you probably felt alone and a little imbalanced. Maybe the people who've been around you have been very surface level. And so maybe you haven't been fully alone, but you've felt very alone. And it's not been giving you the support that you'd needed. And there's been some imbalance here. So we're coming out of that energy. I know we're coming out of this energy. If it's been imbalanced, you're coming out of it. You're coming out of it, and that's going to be beautiful. So I'm sorry you had to go through that. I totally understand that. Okay. Oh, whoa. I barely even started. Whoa. Oh my gosh. I didn't even ask the question. We're confirming the moon. 6 of Wands. Recognition. What the heck, guys? Look at this. Look at it. It's so it's so similar. And we have yellow and white flowers in the corner as well, which is kind of like the 4 of Wands. That's so cool. Look, the bird is out of the cage. The bird from the cage is out of the cage. And look at all these crows. This is honestly making me so happy. That's amazing to see this. Confirming the moon. Coming out of your cage. Doing just fine. That's so funny. Gotta be down because I want it all. You want it all. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what you came here to do, is to have what you want, to get what you want. Don't hide from that. That's a beautiful recognition. This is standing in your power. You have the laurel around you, very kingly. And then you have this bright light, sun energy here, illuminated. It would have, if it had been the sun, it couldn't have been, more on, I'd say, on the nose. And I love the way that looks. It's literally the bird from the cage. That's awesome. I don't even have anything more to say about that. That's amazing. Let's hear about your hermit energy journey. Let's hear about that. What about the hermit? Okay, whoa. Queen of Swords. You needed to go through that. So did I. You needed to go through that so you could get your energy right. So you weren't... Are you an overgiver? I get it. If you are. If you were, especially if you had an imbalance in your relationships, maybe you were trying to, I don't know, maybe you didn't have very good boundaries here. I don't know if they were surface level or if you didn't have boundaries, but when you went into hermit energy, you came out in Queen of Swords energy. This is someone who has healthy boundaries, has logic balanced with emotion. You have your intuition guiding you, and you can see the big picture. Hermit energy, especially if you didn't choose it, can be really difficult to like deal with, to be in. Especially if it was maybe forced on you in some way. But you know now why you had to go through it. If I hold them this way, you get better light. That's awesome. Good for you. You are, again, standing in your power. This is powerful. This is a queen. And it's not gendered. If you haven't heard a reader say that before, if you watch tarot reading and you haven't heard someone say it's not gendered, wait a minute, did I say that right? If you have watched a tarot reading and you haven't heard someone say it's not gendered, you know, crazy, surprise, because everyone says that. It's not gendered. This can be, if it, you know, whatever your presentation is, you can still be in Queen of Swords energy, synergy, I don't know. You don't have to be a female or someone who presents female to be a Queen of Swords. That's amazing too. Okay, Ace of Wands for Knight of Swords. Inspiration. If you're not inspired watching, and I don't mean inspired by me, but if you're not inspired watching this by your gift, whatever this gift is, I'm not talking about me and what I'm necessarily saying, although I would be glad to know that it does help someone out there. I said that at the beginning. But if you're not inspired watching this, you know, go inward, because, or perhaps, you know, hate to say it, maybe it's not for you. But here, at the end of the day, if you're here and this is resonating with you, you know what you're inspired to do. You have inspiration here. And I'd go out on a limb and say it's divine. Divine inspiration? What are you dreaming about? What keeps you up at night? Do you become emotional over it? Do you feel that tug in your chest over it? I think these are feathers. 3 feathers, I think. Are you looking to go to the big city? Maybe. If you are, if your divine inspiration is to relocate, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time for a new place. I'm feeling a chest pain right now as I'm saying that. Heart chakra. Are you longing for a place that feels like home to you? Swift action. This is confirming your swift action. And yellow flowers again in the corner. So yellow flowers on this one. 6 of Wands have yellow flowers. And so does the Ace of Wands. Confirming your swift action. You know what it is. I'm not here to tell you what it is. I know what mine is, but you know what yours is. And I was thinking a lot about heart chakra going into this. And Leo, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't look this up to confirm, but I believe Leo is ruler of the heart chakra. If I have that wrong, I do apologize, but that sounded right to me. And like I said just now, I was getting this chest pain. You're longing for something. Whatever it is, it's your calling. Okay, this is the big one. This is the one I really want to know about. What is 4 of Wands in this scenario? Can we confirm 4 of Wands? Okay. What the heck? Page of Cups came out reversed. Curiosity. Inner child. Union with your inner child. Before I started the video, I was like, I want to talk about inner child. I want to talk about inner child. And I haven't talked about it this whole time. And I wanted to talk about it because Leo has to do with that true, authentic expression, but it also does have to do with children and the inner child. Page of Cups, inner child healing, reawakening curiosity. Why is it reversed? Upright, this card celebrates the inner child. Reversed, you or someone you know may be lacking maturity when confronted by a problem. An unwelcome situation may be the result of substance abuse or low emotional intelligence. You may also have unrealistic expectations that prevent you from finishing a project. If anything else resonated for you on that. But for what I'm hearing, the unrealistic expectations preventing you from finishing a project. I was actually talking about this with my wife, and well, I don't know that I would want to share exactly what we were talking about. But we had a conversation, and it came up about perfectionism. You need to flip this. There's an imbalance of the child. If you're looking at union, this is confirming 4 of Wands, which no lie, very confusing. I told you that. This is about union with your inner child. There's no doubt about it. I hate to tell you, but there is an imbalance here. And it could be perfectionism, unrealistic expectations. Maybe the expectation could even be the timing, because we talked about timing. And that we need, it's okay to go slow. You have time. Take it slow. Don't rush. Get it right. But don't let that stop you. That's the whole problem, is maybe it feels like maybe it feels like it's not worth doing if you're not going to be exactly where you want to be right away. But that's not true. And I know I've basically said this to every card, but I get it. I get that feeling of, well, what's the point? It's going to take me so long, and I don't even know if I'll want it by the time I get there. And now I've put in all this work and emotional labor and I've built myself up, and I don't want to be disappointed. Is that what's bothering you? Disappointment. Fear of disappointment. Do not, please don't stay in the cage. Please don't stay in the cage. Come out. Come out. Look at the fish. Look at the fish on both cards. The fish is trying to come out. Let your curiosity, let your excitement come through. Remember exuberance. The exuberance. I got so excited just now. Exuberance and jubilation. That's what's on the other side for you. But you have to bring balance to the inner child. And I think maybe inner child is a big concept that I don't know if we can get into it right now. And I like doing this for zodiac type stuff and astrology. But in the future, maybe we branch out. I don't know if that's something that I'll do. If I feel called, I will. But I will say that I know that's a big undertaking, especially for, those, sorry again, I hate to say it, but, this might be triggering, but if you have trauma, from your childhood, getting back in touch with the inner child, I know it can be difficult. Why do I say that to you every time? I say it to myself. It is difficult. I know it's difficult. There's nothing, I don't know if I heard this somewhere, or if one day I just said it, but I've been saying for years, nothing worth doing is easy. And I'm sorry. Now, when you are on the right path, it will be your guides, spirit will ease you into it, I'm hearing, but also, yes, the path will open up. But this kind of a journey, if you're feeling called, if you have inspiration here, this kind of a journey, I'm not going to tell you is easy, but look at all the beauty that can come from it. You have support coming in. This is the time. Don't wait for it. Don't wait for it. Go for it. Your support will be right there with you the whole time. If you don't know who your support is right now, support yourself and let spirit support you. If you don't know. Sometimes that's what we have to do to get to the tangible. We have to go out and, the last reading was for Jupiter. The last reading was the Fool. The Fool's Journey, the leap of faith. And so when you go out on a limb, sometimes you are still maybe on your own, a little bit on your own, but you're Queen of Swords and you know how to do it. You have been in this period for a reason, and you've grown exponentially. And so if you're here, if you're still here, I'm proud. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of myself, because there's a good chance that my story is your story and vice versa. So be proud. Keep going. Trust yourself. Trust your spirit. Trust your inner knowing. Spirit will take care of you. This is your message. If everything else has resonated with you and you're still asking how how this is it. Maybe we'll do more on this. Maybe I need to do, I mean, to be honest, like I said, these are just as much for me as they are for you, whoever you are. Page of Cups. That's amazing. Thank you so much for being here. Whenever this finds you, if this finds you during Jupiter and Leo, that's great. See you later.